Howdy. Would you like to hear my presentation on Thomas Alva Edison? Yeah, me neither. The guy was a cunt, turns out. Today, I'm going to be talking about YouTube and maybe some other platforms. I don't know. Right. This is going to be incredibly scuffed. I literally have a Google Doc behind me that I can read so I don't forget what I'm talking about. Alright. So, in your lifetime, you've probably watched television at least once. Maybe you even had a little bit of that good TiVo in there, that primo shit. You've noticed that even though you fast-forwarded through all the commercials, there were some soda cans in the background of the shot. A little pauses on some product a character was holding, or still breaks in the show to talk about this little item that they had. Then, boom, you get a tablet for Christmas, or birthday, or Hanukkah. One of those. Yeah. And suddenly, the whole world is at your fingers. Wait. I can't read very well with this mask on. I'm sorry about that. Then, you decide to spend all your time on YouTube for some reason. I'm joking, but it was a grand old time back then. You just watch a guy ramble about anything while playing gun game number 207, and you could sit back, relax, and get spooked by them quirky animatronics that did absolutely nothing wrong at all in 1987, and you can't prove it otherwise. Then, something interesting started to happen. People started getting paid for making these little videos on the internet. Or, I said interwebs, but I can't fucking read my own handwriting, even though this is typing and not writing. It all started spiraling from there. Branching, dying, growing, ballooning, and rocketing off. It's all very interesting subject that I don't know enough about to really do it justice. But then again, I know basically nothing about what I'm talking about now. Just wanted to do it. That's it. Anyway, what I'm trying to ask you is, over the years, have you noticed creators on all platforms morph into what was once television? Oh my god, I burped. They promote a product to you. They play a little 1 minute long or so advertisement for Plunder, Silhouette Mythos. Then they have one of those animated slideshows on a stream overlay showing you what companies they partner with, stuff like that. They'll buy a domain name for a website to sell something. And I'm going to skip over that part because it was stupid. Or people hiring others to work as either an editor, a scriptwriter, a moderator, occasionally animators, to make higher quality videos or streams. And finally, charity streams, which are honestly really nice, and I'm glad that that transferred over. Shit makes me happy. Now you may be thinking, yeah, I have noticed it. It's a very common thought, and it's not that special. And what I have to say about that is, damn, you're right. But I'm the one who made the video about it, so deal with it. Sorry. How's this camera set up? Should I, like, move it here or some shit? Nope, that changes nothing. Okay. Obviously, one of the answers is money, but that's not the whole picture. People usually take that money and reinvest it into more videos to make better content and pay these people they work with. And my source for that is nothing. I pulled it out of my ass, but I trust that statement enough to be true that I'm going to leave it in. Yeah. So let's break down what TV has done and how the internet has sort of done the same thing. First, behind-the-scenes production. We don't usually see this part in TV unless we go out looking for a commentary track or actual behind-the-scenes footage, or we hear it word of mouth from someone who worked on the project. Second, or last, depending on the way you look at it, the money split. The program, the agency, the editors, the actors, they all have to make money, so everyone all gets in a room together and decides who should get paid how much, depending on their work. Yeah, that's a bold-faced lie. I don't work in the TV industry. I have no clue how they get paid, but they probably aren't getting paid fairly. Just keep that in mind. People have to get paid. Third, the actual TV show. it's pretty clear what this means. It's just the actual part of the show that you enjoy. It's not like you sit down and say, oh boy, I can't wait until it gets to the advertisement. This part's so boring. And if you actually are thinking that, oof, that's rough. Speaking of advertisements, fourth, the advertisements. Hopefully you don't enjoy these more than the show, but this is just another way for the programmer to make money. Anyway, we repeat this process of steps 3 and 4 over and over until we meet the optional steps 5 and 6. Fifth, product placement. This is just more profit for the show. The company comes in and pays them to use their product in the show, usually somewhere in the background, or it's a really weird forced scene where the character is telling you about the features that the brand new car is. Like, God, I'm remembering Bones. They did like 3 of those. It's just like, you keep buying new cars, man. 6. Actors selling products. This doesn't usually happen often, but think about Wayne's World selling Doritos and just looking directly at the camera. I don't have a bag of Doritos, but I'm looking at the camera. Alright. So, 7th, the credits. The point where the show is over, and we get to see all the names of people who worked on or financed the show, or that episode. Alright, so let's compare these steps to YouTube. First, the behind-the-scenes production. There isn't really a lot of behind-the-scenes footage with YouTube. It just sort of depends on who's creating it. But there is a lot of talk on how something came to be. Usually just word-of-mouth stuff. Something like them saying, this position was difficult because for the first 3 months of making this video, we could not find the high-quality microphones. We had to keep borrowing from a friend until Autumn found it, buried in the closet. Some jargon like that. You know what I'm talking about. Just... they tell you how the video is made while the video is being made. Second, the money split. There's not much to add to this. Some platforms will sometimes split money with creators, and that's about it. Third, the actual video. You know, it's just a video, man. There's even less to add to this. The advertisements. So, this is a neat translation, because it goes from the cliffhanger commercial to, like, mid-rolled... I don't know how to edit videos, that's going to stay inside. To mid-roll advertisements on a video. 5th, product placement. This sort of coincides with step 6, where we're just going to move on. 6, creators selling products. Now this is where it gets interesting. These last 2 portions are going to be way longer than the first 5 points or steps or whatever. There are just so many cases of creators collaborating with a brand, company, to make something unique, which usually ends up being limited time products. Now I'm going to start with the things that I know just the least about, which is all of them. So we're going to start with plushies. Ugh. Can I drink water in this mask, or am I going to fucking waterboard myself? I'm going to risk it. Yeah, that's a little weird. So, plushies are pretty neat. I just got this fella right here. His name's Winston, I think. I don't fucking remember. But what I really see often with plushies is them being made via Makeship. And I can't really find any other plushie platforms. That sounded weird. I should have rewrote that. Whatever. Plushie platforms, as the rest seem handmade. I saw custom plush that seemed more oriented towards large companies, but not towards small people. I can't read. Now moving into something that I know even less about, figurines. We have a few companies to choose from, such as U2's, Tube Heroes. Y'all remember Tube Heroes? That feels like it was such a long time ago. U2's, Tube Heroes, Nendoroids, and Funko Pop. But Funko Pop doesn't really collaborate a lot. It's just more fan-made stuff. Now we get to the good shit. We get to the lifeblood of this operation. We get to the gamer water. Fuck yeah. I don't drink a lot of gamer water. I don't know why I'm serious about this. Anyway, we got Red Bull, Monster, Rockstar, and White Claw. Well, White Claw is not really an energy drink. It's still gamer water. Surprisingly, the first 4, excluding White Claw, are all... That's not 4, I just counted that. The first 3 that are excluding White Claw, actually sponsor many gaming organizations. I'm not going to say them out loud. I'll put them later in the description. Oh my god, my throat. Alright, then there are products such as G Fuel and Gamer Sucks. Oh my god. G Fuel and Gamer Sups that work with creators to make specific flavors. That looks different. I did not list any of the flavors. That's awesome. Anyway, this is unrelated, but if you just search up Gamer Water, the first thing that pops up is Bella Delphine, which is a little bit funny. Like, it's still there. It's been like 3 years and it's still there. It hasn't changed definition at all in that time. That's it. Now, I don't know why I wrote this originally in the YouTube short that I wrote like 5 days ago, but I said there was special codes that grant unique items and avatars. I don't know what I was thinking of, something at the time, but I could not for the life of me remember what I was thinking about, or find anyone actually doing this with a company. I did manage to find a creator themselves being in the game. Fellas, let me introduce you to Wyvern Town. Now I'm just joshing you. Dragon City. It's the most prominent example of creators just put into a game with people like We Found Jorge, Serious D, and Nightmare. All of them getting their own avatars placed into a game. And moving on to the next one, 7th, the credits. Now we're getting a special form of credits, where at the end of the video we can see names of people who have funded a project via Kickstarter, Patreon, YouTube channel members, just whatever the creator writes at the very end, You know what credits are. Those are just the people that help them make the video by funding them. That's all. Yeah. These are just the similarities that I found between YouTube and TV, and some of this is interchangeable with other platforms like Twitch, but I'm not primarily on those sites, so I can't really speak about how they coincide with TV. And I haven't even touched upon legitimate organizations that have formed and are just popping off. I don't want to name names, mostly because I haven't asked any of these people if I can use their names, and I'm just worried they'd kill me. Plus, I'm halfway through writing this, and I'm afraid that I'm going to be taken down just because I mentioned some specific chocolate company or something like that. Also, I think that literally zero of these organizations would respond back to me in any sort of way. I'm just another message in a sea of thousands. I don't see how, they'd respond to me. So, without saying their names, with the fear of being struck down by God, you know what? No, that's not enough. Okay. We're just gonna hope that we don't get struck by lightning now, alright? We're gonna be fine. Think about content houses, gaming organizations, VTuber agencies, those type of organizations. Alright, I think we're good. Hopefully we're safe. Anyway, this is the end of the video, and I wanted to leave a few questions for you to ponder on, but I'm also stupid, and I can't really think of a lot of questions to write down. So let's just leave it at this. Have a good night.